Hello and welcome to Leeroy Gaming, where today we are going to continue our coverage of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. And this is actually part 2 of the feats video that I recorded the other day. Now, if you haven't seen the first video already, you're going to notice something a little odd in this video. I had made it as one giant video, but when I uploaded it to YouTube and was putting all the timestamps in the description, I ran out of room. Wasn't even close. So in order to give you guys the best experience as I do of all my videos, I want to make sure that I had all the right timestamps for you for proper navigation. So to do that, I had to cut my original video into 2. So you can notice between the first video and the second video, there's going to be some wardrobe changes, and Leeroy from the future is going to be coming in and commenting on it so people aren't confused. But I hope you guys enjoy part 2 of the feats video. Again, check out the link that pops up or the one in the description to check out part 1. And across the 2 videos, you will see every single normal feat in Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. There will be a separate video coming for the Mythic Feats, so don't worry about that. With that being said, let's go ahead and jumpstart this video. Improved critical. Improved. I don't know if that's a typo. But improved, no, that's not a typo. Improved critical requires improved critical and 2 ranks in perception. When using the weapon you selected, your threat range is increased by 1. Okay. All right. Improved critical. This is almost a meme. Requires 2 ranks in perception. Base attack bonus 8 and improved critical. When using the weapon you select, your threat range is increased by 1 again. Improved critical, improved. That's the thing. Base attack bonus required of 8. Improved critical is required. And perception, 2 ranks of perception. My goodness. When using the weapon you selected, your critical multiplier is increased by 1. Again. All right. Improved Iron Will. You need Iron Will. And you get an additional +2 bonus on all saving throws. This, by the way, and higher difficulties, getting Iron Will and improved Iron Will, so important. All the deadliest effects in the game they're going to deal on a regular basis are going to be will-based normally, especially ones that are like live or die. So definitely get these 2 at some point. Lower difficulties, a little bit more optional, but if you're playing like, in the hardest difficulties, you definitely want these. Interestingly enough, or ironically, if you're playing those difficulties, you probably don't need me to tell you that. All right, improved lightning reflexes. It requires lightning reflexes. You get a +2 bonus on all reflex saving throws. Improved precise shot. Requires 19 dexterity. A base attack bonus of 11. The point blank shot feat and a precise shot feat. Your ranged attacks ignore anything but total concealment and cover. Benefit, your ranged attacks ignore the missed chance granted to targets by anything less than total concealment. Total concealment provides the normal benefits against your ranged attacks. Improved snapshot. Requires point blank shot feat, snapshot feat, base attack bonus 9, and the rapid shot feat. You threaten an additional 5 feet with snapshot. Improved 2-weapon fighting. Dexterity of 17, 2-weapon fighting feat required, and a base attack bonus of 6. You get a second attack with your offhand Albert at a -5 penalty. Improved vital strike. It requires a base attack bonus of 11 and a vital strike feat. You can make a single attack that deals a large amount of damage. Benefit, as a standard action, you can make 1 attack at your highest base attack bonus that deals additional damage. Roll the weapon's damage dice for the attack 3 times and add the results together before adding bonuses from strength, weapon abilities such as flaming, precision-based damage, and other damage bonuses. These extra weapon damage dice are not multiplied on a critical hit, but are added to the total. So they basically act the same as precision-based damage. Indomitable mount. Requires 5 ranks in mobility. Once per round, when your mount fails a saving throw, you can make a mobility check. Your mount makes its save if your mobility check results is greater than the DC of the opponent's attack. Life Dominant Soul. It requires, so this is another Dhampir exclusive. We get a lot of them. You are healed by both the channeling positive energy used to heal living creatures and channel negative energy used to heal undead, but both only heal half the normal amount. You still take damage from positive energy used to harm undead, such as that from channel energy and lay on hands. That's pretty cool. It's cool if you're spamming the two abilities, offensively and defensively, but because you're only taking half, it can be weak if you only channel one or the other. Lingering Performance. Requires bardic performance. The effects of your bardic performance carry on even after you have stopped performing. The benefit is the bonus and penalties from your bardic performance continue for 2 rounds after you cease performing. Any other requirements, such as a range or specific condition, must still be met for the effect to continue. If you begin new bardic performances during this time, the effect of the previous performance immediately ceases. So it doesn't let you to weave multiple ones together, but you can, in theory, if you want to micromanage, or if you're playing the turn-based version of this, you can play it for a round, disable it, have it be effective for 2 rounds. The next round, enable it. You could basically micromanage it to min-max it in theory. I don't know how many people would be obsessive enough about to do it, but that is a benefit. Okay, now there's a bunch of magical tail. I don't know why they look all the same. Okay, this is a Kitsune exclusive. Magical Tail Kitsune requires you to be a Kitsune of a Kitsune race and have a magical tail. You gain a new spell-like ability, each usable twice a day, from the following list in order: Vanish, Sleep, Blur, Invisibility, Deep Slumber, Displacement, Confusion, Dominate Person. For example, the first time you select this feat, you gain Disguise Self 2. The second time you select the feat, you gain Charm Person 2 a day. Your caster level for these spells is equal to your hit dice. DCs for these abilities are charisma based. You may select this feat up to 8 times. Each time you gain it, you gain an additional ability as described above. Got it. So that's why from the top to the bottom, they're either in order of strength. That's why you also see there should be 8 of these. Yeah. So you can basically pump a ton of these. Now you probably want to be like a warrior, a fighter or something, somebody that has a ton of feats, because if you're not, I don't know how many people have up to 8 feats to use for this. And obviously the best ones, I would say Displacement is huge. Invisibility is nice. Blur is nice, statistically. Dominate Person is great, but I would say even up to 6, up to Displacement, just for defensive, for fighting, you'd get almost like a partial wizard benefits from getting this. It's pretty cool. All right, next we have Many Shot. Requires rapid shot feat and a base attack bonus of 6. When making a full attack with a bow, your first attack fires 2 arrows. If the attack hits, both arrows hit. Applies precision damage such as sneak attack and critical hit damage only once for this attack. Damage bonuses from using a composite bow of a high strength bonus apply to each arrow, as do other damage bonuses such as the ranger's favorite enemy bonus. Damage reduction and resistance apply separately to each arrow. Martial weapon proficiency. So, I think I may have misworded it earlier when I was talking about exotic weapons. There's a bunch of martial weapons as listed here. And normally, if you're a martial character like a fighter or something, you're going to have martial weapon proficiency. But other individuals, like mages and other casters, they may not have that. You'll look at their proficiencies and they'll have like a basic sling proficiency and a staff or something. Well, you pick this up and you're going to have access to all these martial weapons here in this giant list. So for a feat. So it's a lot of stuff. Since I'm reading everything else, why not? Hand axe, kukri, light hammer, light pick, short sword, spike light shield bash, star knife, large shield bash, battle axe, flail, heavy pick, long sword, rapier, scimitar, spiked heavy shield bash, warhammer, heavy shield bash, long bow, short bow, earthbreaker, falchion, glaive, great axe, great sword, heavy flail, scythe, bardage, trident, throwing axe, and throwing axe. Okay, good times. Missile shield is next. Requires shield focus and a dexterity of 13. You must be using a shield to use this feat. Once per round, when you would normally be hit with an attack from a ranged weapon, not including spell effects, natural attacks, or massive ranged weapons, you may deflect it so that you take no damage, as if you had to deflect arrow feet. You must be aware of the attack and not flat-footed. Mounted combat requires 1 rank in mobility. Once per round, when your mount is hit in combat, you attempt a mobility check to negate the hit. Hit is negated if your mobility check result is greater than opponent's attack roll. And again, new to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous is the ability to mount companions, animal companions. As long as they're one size larger than you, you don't really need any special feats to mount an animal companion, but there are feats that will give you benefits for optimizing it. And even classes like Cavalier have been introduced to really take advantage of this. So currently in beta, it's buggy. When you mount a mount, you like literally are on top of them, like inside of the animal. It looks really awkward, but I'm sure they're going to fix that eventually. Mounted shield requires shield focus and a mounted combat feat. You may add your base shield bonus, including the bonus from shield focus, but not including enhancement bonuses to your mount's AC, which is nice. Murmurs of Earth. This is a unique feat for the Oread race. You also it requires you to have the Echoes of Stone heritage. I believe that's what that is, and you have to be character level 9. You become aware of all creatures within 15 feet that are in contact with the ground. So basically, anything that's not flying. That's pretty cool. Natural Charmer, yet another Dhampir feat. As I mentioned, they get a lot of them, and they're all pretty cool. You have to have a charisma 17. Once per day, you can take 20 on your next persuasion skill check, and I'm assuming this will just automatically occur in conversations, and that potentially could be really good. Natural spell. It requires the Wild Shape Wolf and Wisdom 13. You can cast spells while using Wild Shape. You substitute various noises and gestures for the normal verbal and somatic components of the spell. Now it says Wild Shape Wolf. I wonder what if you Wild Shape into other things? Not sure. But that is absolutely huge, because one of the downsides of normally being Wild Shape is you don't get spells. So pretty awesome. Oh, one other thing about Wild Shaping. And Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, there's a mythic feat that lets you wild shape indefinitely. Again, unlimited amounts of times. So even if your class has limited numbers of innately wild shaping, by the time you get not even that far into the game, your level, I forget what level I got it on, but it's relatively early in the game, you're going to be able to wild shape as much as you want, indefinitely if you wish. Outflank requires a base attack bonus of 4. Whenever you and an ally who also has this feat are flanking the same creature, your flanking bonus on attack rolls increases to +4 from +2. In addition, whenever you score a critical hit against a flanked creature, it provokes an attack of opportunity from your ally. That is awesome. Penetrating Strike requires fighter level 12 and weapon focus. Your attacks made with weapons selected weapon focus ignore up to 5 points of damage reduction. Decent. Perfect Strike. This requires improved unarmed strike. Requires dexterity of 13, wisdom of 13, base attack bonus of 8, and intelligence of 3. You must declare that you are using this feat before you make your attack roll. Thus, a failed attack roll ruins the attempt. You can roll your attack roll twice and take the highest result. You may attempt the perfect strike once per day for every 4 levels you have attained. But see special. And this is, by the way, like a toggle. Special, a Zen Archer Monk receives a perfect strike as a bonus feat at first level. Even if it does not meet the prerequisites, a monk may attempt a perfect strike attack a number of times per day equal to a monk level, plus 1 more time per day for every 4 levels he has in a class other than monk. And yes, you can totally toggle this on. Like I have a Zen Archer Monk. In fact, you'll have an option to have one if you choose Lan to be your companion. And so you can 3 or 4 times rounds in a row use this perfect strike ability and just melt enemies, like melt a boss that's difficult to hit. So it's pretty nice. Perfect Piranha Strike requires weapon finesse and dexterity 13. When wielding a light weapon or any other weapon that you use with weapon finesse, you can choose to take a -1 penalty on all melee attack rolls and combat maneuver checks to gain a +2 bonus on all melee damage rolls. Bonus to damage is halved, -50%, if you are making an attack with an offhand weapon or secondary natural weapon. When your base attack bonus reaches +4, and for every 4 points after, penalty increases to -1, and a bonus on damage rolls increases to +2. You must choose to use this feat before an attack roll, and its effect lasts until your next turn. The bonus damage does not apply to touch attacks or effects that do not deal hit point damage. This feat cannot be used in conjunction with the power attack feat. Woo! Okay, good times. So this is basically power attack for dex-based characters. So makes sense why you wouldn't be able to use both. All right, Point Blank Master requires fighter level 4 and weapon specialization and a ranged weapon type. Benefit, choose one type of ranged weapon. You do not provoke an attack of opportunity when firing the selected weapon while threatened. Normal, using a ranged weapon while you're threatened provokes attacks of opportunity. Precision Shot requires point blank shot. You can shoot or throw ranged weapons at an opponent engaged in melee without taking the standard -4 penalty on your attack rolls. So this is absolutely mandatory for anybody that's going to be using ranged attacks, because enemies are going to be, clumped together with your guys. It's rare that you're going to have somebody just standing out of combat for anything more than like a hit, and a -4 penalty to hit is so brutal. So you want to get this as soon as possible. Precision Strike. Dexterity 13 requirement, base attack bonus of 1. Whenever you and your ally who also has this feat are flanking the same creature, you deal an additional 1d6 points of precision damage with each successful melee attack. The bonus damage stacks of other sources of precision damage, such as sneak attack. This bonus damage is not multiplied on critical hits. Ooh, as we approach an hour and a half of the video, whoo! Told you guys this was going to be a big one. Pummeling Bully. Requires Pummeling Style, Trip, Improved Unarmed Style, base attack bonus of 9, or a monk of level 5. So that's pretty big. Like a fighter, for example, has to wait basically to level 9 to get this. Monks at 5. When you use Pummeling Style to make an entire full attack or flurry of blows against a single target, if you hit with any of your attacks, you attempt a trip combat maneuver check as a free action, which is pretty nice. Yeah. Pummeling Charge requires Pummeling Style and base attack bonus of 8, or you need to be a monk of level 8. Sorry, base attack bonus of 12, or a monk level 8. Your charge ends with a Mighty Haymaker. Benefit, you can charge and make a full attack or flurry of blows at the end of your charge as part of the charge action. You can use Pummeling Charge in this way only if all of the attacks qualify using Pummeling Style against a single attack. That's big because normally when you charge at the end, you only get a standard attack. So If you're like a monk that has like 3, 4, 5 attacks, that's a big, big difference. Pummeling style requires improved unarmed strike, a flurry of blow feature, or a base attack of 6. So again, monks can get a level 1 basically, while fighters, etc., would need to be a minimum level 6. Your unarmed strikes weave together an effortless combo, focusing on the spot you've weakened with the last hit. Benefit whenever you use a full attack or flurry of blows to make multiple attacks against a single opponent. With unarmed strikes, total the damage from all hits before applying damage reduction. This ability works only with unarmed strikes, no matter what other abilities you might possess. Ray Shield. This requires Dexterity 13 or 15, as well as the Missile Shield feature or feat. You must be using a light, heavy, or tower shield to use this feat. Once per round, when you would normally be hit with a ranged touch attack, including rays and similar magic effects, you may deflect it so that it takes no damage from it. That's big because it's one of the few ranged attacks that normal deflect arrow or missile shield cannot deal with. Seize the moment requires combat reflexes feat. When an ally who also has this feat confirms a critical hit against an opponent that you have threatened, you can make an attack of opportunity against this opponent. Selective channeling. This is a must for anybody that channels. It requires Charisma 13 and channel energy and any forms of channel positive energy or Hex Channeler channel energy. So whenever you channel positive energy to heal the living or channel negative energy to heal the undead, you do not affect enemies. When you channel positive energy to damage undead or channel negative energy to damage living, you do not affect allies. Hence the term selective channeling, because otherwise, when you heal, you would heal everybody, friends or foe, and when you did one of these to damage people, it would damage your characters, like your friends and you, as well as others and enemies. So this is, you need to get this like level 1 or basic, or as soon as you start channeling. Shatter defenses requires weapon focus, also the dazzling display feat, and having a base attack bonus 6. Your skills of your chosen weapon leave opponents unable to defend themselves if you strike them when their defenses are already compromised. Benefit: any shaken, frightened, or panicked opponents hit by you this round, it's flat-footed to your attacks until the end of your next turn. This includes any additional attacks you make this round, which is huge because when you're flat-footed, your AC is garbage. Okay, Shield Master. You need to have proficiencies in light shields or heavy shields. You need to have a Shield Bash feat. You need to have a 2-weapon fighting feat and a base attack bonus of 11. Your mastery of the shield allows you to fight with it without hindrance. Benefit: you do not suffer any penalties on attack rolls made with a shield while you're wielding another weapon. Add your shield's enhancement bonus to attack and damage rolls made with the shield as if it were a weapon enhancement bonus. So that's huge, especially if you have a really nice magical shield. Shield proficiency. You can only get this if you don't have proficiency, obviously. You become proficient with bucklers, light shields, and heavy shields. Sickening critical. It requires a critical focus and base attack bonus 11. Whenever you score a critical hit, your opponent becomes sickened for 1 minute. The effect of this feat does not stack additional hits. Instead, add to the effect's duration. Special: you can only apply this effect of 1 critical feat to a given critical hit unless you possess the critical mastery. Cool. Simple weapon proficiency. This lets you become proficient with all simple weapons. So in the off chance that your character is not proficient with simple weapon proficiencies, and again, this is very commonly like a default. I don't know if anybody wants to comment below if they know of any class that doesn't at least have, well, no, actually, I take that back. I have seen classes where they say they're only like proficient with a couple of these. So if you take this, you get access to the following: Dagger, light mace, punching dagger, sickle, club, heavy mace, short spear, dart, heavy crossbow, javelin, light crossbow, sling, great club, long spear, quarterstaff, and spear. And if you're new to Pathfinder or Pathfinder Wrath, oh my goodness, Wrath of the Righteous, and you want to see just how many weapon types there are, take a look at the list of simple weapons, martial weapons, and exotic weapons. Add them all up, and it will blow your mind. There's like 30 or 40 or something weapon types, and there's weapons of all types in the game. It's the most inclusive game I think ever made when it comes to features. Bit overkill. That's why some people call it like in pen and paper, like the spreadsheet management game. All right, next we have Slashing Grace. It requires Dexterity 13, Weapon Finesse, and a Weapon Focus and one-handed slashing. You can stab your enemies with your sword or another slashing weapon. Benefit, choose one kind of light or one-handed slashing weapon, such as the longsword. When wielding your chosen weapon one-handed, you can treat it as a one-handed piercing weapon for all feats and class abilities that require such a weapon, such as a duelist precise strike. You can add your dex modifier instead of your strength modifier to the weapon's damage. The weapon must be appropriate for your size. So that is crazy. It just expands your options of weapon finesse weapons. Normally they're like daggers and rapiers. Well, now you can get a longsword. Not sure if you can. I wonder if you can like use a two-handed weapon or 1.5 time weapon like Bastard Sword. That would be very fascinating. But yeah, that's the benefit. Next, Snapshot. Requires a base attack bonus 6, precision shot, point blank shot. While wielding a ranged weapon, you threaten squares within your melee reach. You can make attacks of opportunity with the ranged weapon. You do not provoke attacks of opportunity when making ranged attacks as an attack of opportunity. So this is big, because if somebody's trying to disengage with you, and for whatever reason, with your ranged weapon, you can get a free shot off on them. Spell Specialization. It requires spell focus. So select one spell. You cast that spell with greater than normal power. Benefit, with that selected spell, you treat the caster level as being 2 higher for all level variable effects of the spell. So some will say like every X amount of levels, you do an extra 1d6 damage or whatever it may be. So this lets you, bump up in damage earlier, for example, or other effects as listed. Every time you gain a level of spellcasting in a spellcasting class, you can choose a new spell to replace the spell selected of this feat, and that spell becomes your specialized spell. This is important because you can get this early on and pick it one of your weak spells, and then as you unlock powerful weapon, you may not want to use that early one anymore. You want to now use that more powerful one, and this lets you basically, you can't indefinitely swap them, but whenever you level up, basically, you'll have the opportunity. All right, but notice, I didn't want to say, it says when you get a level in a spellcasting class. So if you level up and you take Fighter, well, you don't get to pick a new one. Next, Spirited Charge. Requires the mounted combat feat. When mounted and using the charge action, you deal double damage with melee weapons. Pretty cool. Staggering Critical. It requires critical focus and a base attack bonus of 13. Whenever you score a critical hit, your opponent becomes staggered for 1d4 plus 1 rounds. Successful fortitude save. Reduce the duration to 1 round. The DC of this fortitude save is equal to 10, plus your base attack bonus. The effect of this feat does not stack. Additional hits instead add to the duration. You can only apply the effect of 1 critical feat to a given critical hit unless you possess critical mastery, which will let you do 2. Okay, next, Stat Focus. Requires Perception 2 ranks. You gain +1 mythic bonus to the selected stat. That's interesting to put there. So mythic bonus, which allows you to stack with other bonuses. So again, +1 bonus to strength, dexterity, etc. Pretty straightforward. And basically good if you don't want to, if you're like at 19, you want to get it to 20, and you're still far away from, your next 4 levels tier boost. Steel Soul. This requires you to be a dwarf and have the hardy feat. So, or I believe that's hardy feat or hardy feature. You're especially resistant to magic. Benefit, you receive a +4 racial bonus on saving throws against spells and spell-like abilities. This replaces the normal bonus from the dwarf's hardy racial trait. Okay, so it's a racial trait. I never play dwarves. Normal, dwarves normally receive a +2 racial bonus on saving throws against spells and spell-like abilities. So that's, it's good. Stony Step. This is unique to the Oread race. You gain a +2 racial bonus on mobility checks and ignore difficult terrain on ground. They like being on the ground. Stunning Fist. This requires improved unarmed strike. You know just where to strike to temporarily stun a foe. You must use this feat before you make your attack. Thus, a failed attack roll ruins attempt. Stunning Fist forces a foe damaged by your unarmed attacks to make a fortitude save throw, DC 10 plus half your character level plus your wisdom modifier. In addition to dealing damage normally, a defender who fails the saving throw is stunned for 1 round until just before your next turn. A stunned character drops everything held, can't take action, loses any dex bonus to AC, and takes a -2 penalty to AC. Obviously, this is really good if you have a bunch of characters targeting him down. You may attempt a stunning attack once per day for every 4 levels you have attained, and no more than once per round. Constructs, oozes, plants, undead, and corporeal creatures, and creatures immune to critical hits cannot be stunned. Sunder Armor. Strength 13 required and power attack required. Your feat gives you a chance, character ability to perform a Sunder Armor combat maneuver. It also grants a +2 bonus to CMB when performing this maneuver and a +2 bonus to CMD when defending against it. You can attempt to dislodge your weapon or dislodge an armor worn from by your opponent. If your combat maneuver is successful, the target loses its bonus from armor for 1 round. For every 5 by which you attack exceeds your opponent's CMD, the penalty lasts 1 additional round. Superior Summoning requires Augment Summoning. Each time you cast a summoning spell that conjures more than 1 creature, add 1 to the total number of creatures summoned. So this is important because you'll have options normally with the summoning spells. Like one will be summon 1 of something. The other one's 1d3 plus 1. The other one's like 1d4 plus 2. So this will not impact the single summon, but the 1d3 plus 1 will turn into 1d3 plus 2. The 1d4 plus 2 will turn into 1d4 plus 3. I think I got that right. I might be wrong, but I know the numbers might be wrong, but I do know it will not work with the singular one. Okay, Tandem Trip requires the trip feat. You know how to work together to trip your foes. Benefit, whenever you attempt a trip combat maneuver against an enemy threatened by an ally with this feat, you roll twice and take the better result. Powering Critical requires base attack bonus 13 and critical focus feat. Whenever you score a critical hit, your opponent becomes fatigued. This feat has no additional effect on a fatigued or exhausted creature. Special, you can only apply this effect on one critical feat to a given critical hit unless you possess critical mastery, which lets you apply to. Tower Shield Proficiency. Requires shield proficiency. You become proficient with tower shields. This is important because I believe outside of the tower, the shield, like there's a fighter archetype that's like a shield master. Outside of them, as far as I know, there are no other classes that start with the ability to wield tower shields. So this is required if you want to use those beastly things. Trample requires mounted combat feat. Gain ability to trample enemies while riding your mount. If the trample is successful, your mount deals damage to target knocked prone by the trample as if it was hit with 1 natural attack. Trip requires intelligence 13, combat expertise feat, or you got to be kinetic warrior. This feat gives the character an ability to perform the trip combat maneuver. also grants +2 CMB bonus when performing a maneuver and a +2 bonus to CMB when defending against it. You can only attempt to trip your opponent in place, or you can attempt to trip your opponent in place of a melee attack. If your combat maneuver is successful, the target is knocked prone. Target has more than 2 legs. You add a +2 to the DC of the combat maneuver attack roll for each additional leg it has. Some creatures, such as oozes, creatures without legs, and flying creatures, cannot be tripped. 2-weapon fighting requires dexterity 15. Benefit: your penalty on attack rolls for fighting with 2 weapons are reduced. Penalty for primary hand is lessened by 2, and the one for your offhand is lessened by 6. Normal: if you wield a second weapon in your offhand, you can get 1 extra attack per round with the weapon. When fighting this way, you suffer a -6 penalty of your regular attack or attacks of your primary hand, and -10 penalty for the attack with your offhand. If your offhand weapon is light, the penalty reduced by 2 each, and unarmed strike is always considered light. So what does this mean? This means if you're wielding 2 normal non-light weapons and you get this feat, you get a -4 penalty to your primary and a -4 penalty also to your offhand. Way, way better. If on top of that, they are considered light weapons, then you are down all the way to a -2 to primary and a -2 to your offhand as well. So it can be quite effective, but without this feat at a minimum, you're not going to be hitting anything, especially if you're wielding normal weapons. Vital Strike requires base attack bonus 6. Make a single attack that deals significantly more damage than normal. Benefit: as a standard action, you can make 1 attack at your highest base attack bonus that deals additional damage. Roll the weapon's damage dice for the attack twice and add the results together before adding bonus from strength weapon abilities such as flaming, precision-based damage, and other damage bonuses. These extra weapon damage dice are not multiplied on a critical hit, but are added to the total. So yeah. Vulpine Pounce. This is another exclusive for the Kitsune race. You need a base attack bonus 10. You gain Pounce in your Kitsune form. Freaking awesome. Yeah, it's Pounce. Basically, when you charge, you get to do a full attack at the end instead of just a single one. So that's really, really cool. Warrior Priest requires a domain, the ability to have a domain selection, or a mystery selection, which is for Oracle. Domains are for clerics. Ability to cast divine spells of first level at least. And you gain a +1 bonus on initiative checks and a +2 bonus on concentration checks. So you go earlier and more likely to, which makes sense because if you're fighting in a melee range, you're more likely to get interrupted. So this helps fight against that. Then you get weapon specialization, requires fighter level of 4, and a weapon focus feat. So you are skilled at dealing damage with 1 weapon. Choose 1 type of weapon, including unarmed strike, for which you already have selected weapon focus feat. You deal extra damage when using this weapon. Benefit: you get +2 bonus on all damage rolls you make using the selected weapon. Special: you can gain this feat multiple times. Its effects do not stack. Each time you take this feat, apply to a new type of weapon. Last and not least, there is a unique feat for the Aasimar. You need to be character level 10. You gain a pair of wings that grant you +3 dodge bonus to AC against melee attacks. And you're immune to ground-based effects such as difficult terrain because you're hovering. It's awesome. I mean, selectively awesome. Also, like a lot of sorcerer bloodlines, etc., will let you get wings at different times. So, we made it. Hour and 15 minutes into the video. I'm curious, did anybody watch this entire thing from beginning to end? If you do, please take the extra 5 seconds and comment below and state, I watched the whole video. I want to give you personal kudos for sitting through this video. But I expect most people to use the timestamps that will take me longer to put in than recording this video. I know it. But hopefully you guys like this. Hopefully you appreciate it. If you do, remember, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell We're going to be making a ton more videos going through while we're in beta, and then when we go live, trying to become kind of the one-stop spot for Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. This is Leeroy with Leeroy Gaming, and I will see you guys in the next video.